unique to Glenrose on the little.
Wow, Meadowhane Beaks. Y'all Chi-Town Brews is hilarious. Shalom in search of y'all. How y'all doing this morning, man? Wow, what just happened? Hold up 1 second, y'all. All my stuff just went out. Hold on. I don't know why it does this. There we go. What the? Oh boy. 1 second, y'all. Okay, there we go. There we go. Shalom, Jedediah. Shalom, my beloved sister. How you doing, Sister Shawnee? I know I thought daughter Zion. Shalom, beloved. What up, Dex? 4K. Shalom, my Bruce T. Peace, bro. What up, Mikael? I'm gonna hit you up later, man. I got a lot of people to call today. So I'm gonna try to do this in a timely manner because I know people trying to watch them playoffs. Shalom, my brother. Live and direct. You absolutely right. Ahuba, shalom. Yeah, it is, man. I done got on the spiritual ball. I done got the spiritual ball rolling. So that's what people want more of. And so that's what I'm going to do because that's what we need to be right now. And I know y'all all agree. That's good, sir. That's all. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, and so, yeah, we done got on this spiritual thing. And as a kingdom and a nation of priests, you know, of course, we kind of fumbled our kingdom. And so now we got our real kingdom coming. So we need to be on full priest, prophet, and prophetess mode. So we got to learn to look at things with spiritual eyes. Can y'all hear me good? Y'all can hear me good. Give me a 1 if y'all can hear me clear. Those are people's. Okay, cool. So people was looking at me. They saying me on that Boom show on the Sabbath night. If y'all ain't check it out with me and the brother Isaac K. Fingers, I got a lot of good feedback. Shout out to my sister Andrea too. Thanks for that blessing, beloved. And thanks for anybody that support me in the Walls of Jericho Ministries in any type of way. I highly appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, people was telling me, a couple people hit me up, say, man, Ark, you look tired, man. I guess they could see my eyes all red and stuff. Yeah, I'm a little tired, man, but I'm good. You know, you out dealing with this spiritual thing, you're gonna get wild a little bit, but I'm straight, you know. So I get my hair twisted up and all that old stuff. I ain't really had no time for it. Y'all see, I'll be all right. And so, yeah, man. I know a lot of y'all was feeling that. What was the last one? It was what was it? Know the Spirits or something like that. I can't think of the direct title. The last one I did. And I was telling y'all that I actually had, I don't know how many numbers I said, did I exaggerate? 20, 30, 40 more scriptures. It wasn't no 40, but I have a significant amount of scriptures where I could have said, you know, I basically could have had a much longer one. But I keep getting people to ask for me to expound on it. And so I'm just going to incorporate it into more of my more recent lessons that I'm going to do. Because I think as Israelites, you know, we known globally now to know the book. Like any other group or organization that come across, most Israelites know that you can dogmatically talk to us because most Israelites, even if you feel their doctrine is off, they have a different zeal about them. And it's because we look at this as ours. We literally look at this as our history, as our traditions, our customs, you know, our God. And so, you know, we're going to take it seriously, and that manifests into, that manifests into a spirit. You see what I'm saying? And so within that self, it will make you a lot more passionate about when you're dealing with the word. Y'all know what I mean? You said we killed it on Boom Show, huh? All praises to the Most High, man. And with that, I'd like to say, forgive me. I'd like to give all praises to the Most High Elohim, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the name of His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, our Mashiach, High Priest. And today, yeah, I chose the title, as y'all can see, the covering, man, woman, and Israel. Know what spirit you're in, because the subject comes up a lot every year about the whole head covering thing. And I think a lot of times it's just on a physical level. And, you know, the book tell us, you know, that which is first is not spiritual, but natural. And then that is spiritual. And what that means is most times when you see when Christ was kicking knowledge to people, he was trying to get them to understand the spiritual aspect of it. Like, you know, it was people that knew the letter, knew the law, but they didn't really know the significance of it. That's why even the Pharisees, who was the masters of the law, didn't actually know the intricacies of what was violating the law and what was not. And that's what they would try to catch him up on. You know, like even with the picking the corn thing, you know what I'm saying? All you had to do was go to, I believe it's Deuteronomy 22 or 23 or either 24, somewhere up in there. And it would tell you that he didn't even violate by letting his disciples pick corn, because they were not laboring. They wasn't grabbing bunches of corn. They was taking little ears that they could eat. And it said if you come on your neighbor's standing ground, you can grab little pieces that, like, meaning you can grab a piece of corn because you know you're not laboring, you're not setting up to sell it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you don't take a sheaf to it, that would be labor, because now you're chopping it down, you're throwing it in a basket and all that. That's literally working. That's labor. That would have got you killed. But grabbing a piece of corn because you on your journey at the Sabbath trying to get home or trying to get to a gathering was not violation of the Sabbath day. But see, they wasn't on Jesus' level. You see what I'm saying? That's why I call him, you know, the master of the law. He never broke the law. You feel me? And he used a comparison of David getting the showbread because they didn't understand about doing good on the Sabbath day. And that's the whole thing. And so, yeah, man, you know, it's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna open it up kind of like I did last time with a couple of topics. You know, if y'all been watching social media and the news, it's been a lot of attacks on our community, Israel. A lot of it is internal. But what I've been seeing a lot lately is basically the unprotected nature of our women. And it's people from the outside and inside that's taking advantage of it. Like that picture, that video that's going viral, y'all seen it with the big Gentile knocked the sister out. And you know, it's when I looked at that, I looked at all the comments and I was like, first of all, them girls ain't have no business out there pushing on no big grown man. You know what I'm saying? But that goes back to literally where our teachings have fell off even in our family. Like, what is y'all running up on the man for in the first place? You see what I'm saying? But we have failed so far away from how we was in our society with man, woman, and child and things like that. But at the same time, that man felt he could lay her out like that because he feel wasn't nobody gonna do nothing about it because they unprotected. You see what I'm saying? They uncovered, as we like to say. They uncovered. Talking about this morning on the news, my mom was like, what? Yeah. I can't remember exactly what the name of it was. Shalom. Yeah, so and so, you know, he was able to do something like that because, you know, he felt like it wouldn't be no repercussions for him lacing that little sister up like that, because it just seems obvious that our women are protected like they should be. If you look at how Israel was formatted, like you get people that attack the Bible, they attack us teaching our women to be modest, you know, things of that nature. And they'll say it's male chauvinistic, which is some new 19th century, 20th century, actually, garbage that they came out with. They don't look at the fact that we literally had laws set up in our communities that kept our women more protected than any other women in any other nations around us. Like by far, you couldn't even touch it. We had laws for the widows. Meaning that would be a home that didn't have a father in it. You know what I'm saying? Due to the father either being killed or whatever happened. But if you look at it, hell, the majority of the so-called black community are widows. If you want to look at it technically, you know what I'm saying? Because what was connected to the widows, you also had a law in there for the fatherless child. Meaning there's no father around. And God said if they cry out to him, and you know, if they get vexed, if you vex them, meaning the widow, the single mother, or the child without a father, that if they cry out to him, he gonna hear it, and y'all in trouble. You see what I'm saying? So we made sure we looked out for the widows and the fatherless first. But today you don't see that. And that's because they're not protected. They don't have a cover. That's not chauvinistic. You would have to be stupid to believe it. That's how you know it's a spirit on people to even think that you have to try to liberate yourself from something that's in your best interest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was the name of the last one. Thank you, Dexter. That was the name of the last one, Shawnee, was Don't Hide the Spirit of Fear. And so we're going to look at this real quick. And like I say, we're going to take it more on a spiritual level. But we're going to see why I brought up that which is natural is first and that is spiritual is second. Because if you can't understand the natural things, it's almost impossible for you to understand the spiritual significance of it. Y'all see what I'm saying? And so we're going to go to where most people go. And let me say this about Paul. Paul is very much misunderstood, but I'm going to tell you who he misunderstood by: novice, people who don't know the Old Testament good. Paul knew the Old Testament very good. As a matter of fact, that's why some of his writings will confuse you when he talking about the law. The law, you got to know what he's talking about when he even say the law. I did a lesson called Pauline Doctrine for Dummies. It's on my page. Y'all need to go check that out. But that's leading into my debate I'm having tonight. Y'all know tonight is the debate with me and the brother G-Con on Solar Vision Debate League, 8 p.m. Central Time. Y'all tune in on YouTube, cast your vote, call in, cast your vote. The first people that call in are the people that's debaters. So don't call in the first time. And then the second call in is you, the people y'all call in and vote on, you know, who you feel won between me and G-Con. And, you know, God be with me. I should be able to pull that out. And so this all just lined up perfect today for my mission, for what I got to do. So we're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Like I was saying, you really have to understand Paul. So 1 Corinthians chapter 11, I'm sorry. And I'm going to pick it up at verse 2. And this is what it says. It says, now I praise ye, brethren, that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinances. I want y'all to focus on it, the ordinances, as I delivered them to you. So there's certain ordinances that Paul was delivering to them, you know what I'm saying, in Corinth. And you would have to literally go study their book to find it. And what's funny, most of the ordinance we know are set up through, you can find some in Genesis, but mainly at the end of Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, right? And I can't say that you see clearly the head covering per law in the Torah. But we're gonna take a look at it because, like I say, he didn't just grab this out of thin air. Like the only thing I've ever had Paul to scratch my head on was the circumcision thing. And then later on, he still wind up circumcising them. And then it's like, you know, they'll make it seem like you doomed if you cut your flesh. But if that's the case, then why would he doom somebody for the rest of their life just because he under the pressure of the Israelites? No, he just had another understanding, and he was trying to, you know, kind of politicize that thing. You trying to get people to convert over. The last thing you want to tell them is they got to go cut their joint. You know what I'm saying? They already got to learn to eat different, worship different, and observe things different. Now you tell them they got to cut on they member. Like, that ain't no good sales pitch if you want somebody to come over and be a Messianic or a Christian. You see what I'm saying? And so let's look at this. So yeah, he said, now I praise you, brother, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances that I delivered them as I deliver them to you. Verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. So if we break that order in any type of way, you done totally just voided yourself or disconnected yourself from the Father. All right, so let's go to verse 4. It says, every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. And I'm going to read the next one right there. Verse 5, but every woman that prayeth or prophesied with her head uncovered, dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one, as if she were shaven. Now, I want to take a look at something real quick, because we hear this read a whole lot, but does anybody ever really get into the spiritual significance of it? Now, remember the first thing he said was the ordinances. Like I say, most of the ordinances in Deuteronomy, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. So we're going to go to Numbers, the 5th chapter real quick. We're going to go to Numbers, the 5th chapter. So y'all fly with me on over there. And here's a little what you would call custom that they had set up or whatever. You feel me? And this was dealing with the spirit of jealousy. So this Numbers chapter 5. Numbers chapter 5, and I'm gonna pick it up in verse 17. It says, and the priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel, and of the dust that is in the floor of the tabernacle, and the priest shall take and put it into the water. And the priest shall set the woman before the Lord and uncover the woman's head, and put the offering of memorial in her hands, which is a jealousy offering. And the priest shall have in his hand the bitter water that causeth the curse. Now, you can go back and read that on your own, but it's talking about the spirit of jealousy. See if you've been sleeping with somebody else, something like that. The belly would swell up, the thigh would rot, all that type of thing. It literally was an ancient form of the Maury Povich, or, you've been lying / pregnancy test / all that kind of stuff. So it lets you know that the Most High is way ahead of even today's technology, right? But if you notice, one of the things is it was as if they expected, or you knew, that that woman's head would be covered. So the first thing he was told is, look, uncover her head before you bring her before the priest to take care of this, right? And so we're going to look at something real quick, because what we do know Paul understood was the creation story, which we all do, with Adam and Eve in Genesis, right? So we're looking at this from a spiritual aspect. I'm going to take this to the man, the woman, and the nation of Israel as a whole, because a lot of brothers don't know that. I think they lose the fact that the brothers have to be covered also. And so we're going to take this from Numbers, and we're going to take it to, just to show you what I mean, the prophet Isaiah, right? So we're going to go to the prophet Isaiah and see what the Most High put on the spirit to be said, and why they say these type of things. Like I say, like a cat like Paul he know the book like way better than any of us. You know what I'm saying? Christ did deal with him personally. And so he wouldn't just pull something out of thin air. So let's look at Isaiah, the 47th chapter, right? Now, keep in mind, us as the nation, shalom, shalom, us as the nation of Israel. If you go to other spots in the prophet Isaiah, you will notice that he say that he surnamed us. I brought this up at the show Sabbath night, Friday night. And it's only 2 people that a man would surname. Being that God is mainly a masculine spirit, it's only 2 people that you would surname. You know what I'm saying? Who is that? You will surname your wife, and you will surname your son or your child. It's no coincidence that he considers us both. You know what I'm saying? We're his son as a nation, and we're his wife, right? So that is a form of covering and protection and insurance in itself, the fact that you bear his name. So when you see in scriptures where it say you have defiled my holy name, people think that's just talking about like Yah, Yahweh, Yahuwah, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, when you read it, it's actually talking about you defile his name in your behavior, because Israel is scattered throughout amongst all the nations. So how you act is a reflection on him. You see what I'm saying? Because he surnamed us. We are Israel. What does that name mean? Prince of power with man and God. And that's another thing that I brought up on that. It kind of dropped the boom. The father ain't never been a prince. How could he be a prince? A prince descends from a father. You see what I'm saying? So that's talking about literally the one we know as the Word. John chapter 1, the Word in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So we actually got our name from him. That's a whole nother story. So let's go to Isaiah the 47th chapter and let's look at this. I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. But thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." He's talking to Israel. "Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks." Look at that. "Make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers." So this is something that this is even letting you know that the Most High knew this was how our women would be. The first thing he said was uncover thy locks, because our women were in modesty. One part of modesty, they had some spiritual understanding. They would have their head covered. But on here, he telling her to do the reverse. He say, uncover your locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. You see what I'm saying? So that's exposing the thigh and the leg and all those type of things to go over the river. So watch this. It say verse 3, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man." Do you hear that? So he literally is telling us, like, look, I'm finna uncover you. And what did he start with? I'm gonna uncover your locks. I'm gonna uncover your head first. Then I'm gonna go on. You're gonna take the rest. You're gonna be out here naked, uncovered, shamed. God don't put stuff. Look, everything in here is in here for a reason, right? And that's what we study it for. And so, just to further elaborate on that, we're gonna go back because people read 1 Corinthians 11, and then they get into the whole thing where, you know, they say, well, it's the shaved hair, the man having the long hair, and that is against nature. What he's doing is he's making a comparison and contrast between the cultures of the Corinthians and the cultures of the Israelites. And that's why he said there's no such custom. People try to use that to say, talking about the head cover. No, if you look at what it said, the last thing it talked about was the having the long hair against nature or versus the short hair. So we know that wasn't a custom, because outside the priests, when you dealt with Israel, a brother could take a Nazarite vow and grow his dreads long, and you could not cut them. So people got to stop eating baby food and really look at it in context, right? When you're dealing with Paul, I always tell people you cannot be a novice reading Paul or it will destroy you. The Apostle Peter, who was the leader, told us that, did he not? He sure warned us. I believe it's in 2 Peter 3:15. I could be wrong. It's 2 Peter 3:15 or 2 Peter 2. But he literally said that our brother Paul, paraphrasing, has wisdom, because I didn't put that in my notes. And he said, he warns you, he say, man, many people struggle with Paul's writings as they do with the scriptures. So the same people who have problems with the scriptures and the law are the exact same people who run to Paul. You see what I'm saying? They run to Paul and they say they do it to their own destruction. Pardon me. Them boys out there trying to shovel that snow. But yeah, and so you have to put all this into context. Y'all feel me? But we're gonna get deep off into this here. We're gonna see one of the things that he understood. So let's go back to 1 Corinthians 11, because people try to like breeze over this. You see what I'm saying? They try to breeze over this part, and this is a vital part. So let's go to 1 Corinthians, of course. That's why I don't even know why I gotta look down at that. 1 Corinthians 11, and let's look at verse 10. It says, for this cause, listen now, for this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. Now you got to think about that. Now this would explain why they had an understanding that they women would cover their heads all the time. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to like fire if you won't step outside with your hair like that's. No, we're just doing this to get some understanding of why certain things are in here and why it's under the discretion of the woman outside of her being married. You know, if she's not married, it's under the discretion of that woman if she's going to cover her head or not, unless it's under these certain guidelines that's praying and prophesying. We're going to get into that too, what constitutes praying and prophesying all as well, because a lot of people don't seem to understand that. And so it says again in verse 10, for this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels, right? And so we're going to look at when was the first time that you seen that a woman was not covered by her man, because that's what it represents ultimately. If a sister is married, her man is that covering, right? And if she's not married, it's her father. But it's a lot of women out here that don't get a man or a father. Let's be frank. So it would be definitely smart to try to keep yourself even symbolically covered with something on your head. Y'all feel me? So let's get away from just how we feel about it and try to get a spiritual understanding of it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't write this, but I've grown to understand it. You feel? Y'all feel me? Right, exactly. Okay, so look, let's see what he mean by have power over your head over angels. Let's check out the first rotten angel and the first woman. Let's go to in fact, should I go to 69? Nah, Genesis 3. Genesis 3. We're gonna go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. So let's go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And like I know some brothers that, well, I'll get into that later. Let's go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and I'm gonna pick it up at Genesis 3 and verse 1. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? This is a direct command. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither ye touch it, lest ye die. Now you can see from her response, she knew this quite clearly, right? Who did she get it from? Adam had to tell her. You see what I'm saying? And you know, she was a part of Adam when God gave it out. So she understood this quite clearly. Now watch this. It says, verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. There they go. When they want to be slick. Hold on one second, y'all. Hey, could y'all keep it down back there, please? Keep it down. I'm live. And so, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. For God doeth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And that's the whole thing, right? You got to look at that, because that's something that still goes on to this day. You might be out there searching for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, so you may go outside the norm of what you're used to being taught, because you figure you just increase in knowledge. But all knowledge ain't good knowledge. Y'all see what I'm saying? All knowledge is not good knowledge. And so that's what we really, really, truly have to understand. I can't find my other. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking for my other window. I apologize. Where did my window go? This is crazy. Oh, well, I'll figure it out. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Live control. Cool. There we go. And so, yeah, man. And so, you know, you might get out there trying to get some better understanding. So you start getting off into other books. You might go outside or something. But if what you were just given, and could nothing be better than getting this from God himself, these instructions, what could actually be better? So you might go out there trying to increase your knowledge, you know what I'm saying, and mess around and get yourself in some straight up trouble. You feel me? And this is exactly where it started at. So remember, to have power over angels. So let me continue reading. It says, verse 5, for God doeth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took up the fruit thereof and did eat it, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So these was teachings. These exactly what they was. They was teachings, they was conversation, and that. So I'm gonna skip on down because it tell you in verse 7, they opened their eyes, saw that they was naked and all that. We know the story. Verse 8, it says, and they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. Now, he was doing just fine, you know what I'm saying, with going off the teachings of the Most High. Why now all of a sudden he hiding that he naked? Like, who is you hiding your nakedness from when the population is 2? You see what I'm saying? He hiding it from the spiritual realm now, which is something he shouldn't have even been worried about. You feel me? But this goes back to leaving his woman uncovered, and she went over there and she basically got the slick snake talk done to her. You see what I'm saying? And this is what Paul is talking about. So look at this in verse 12. It's saying, the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree and did eat. And the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. This is that angel who got a whole fleet of them that is saying that with your head covered, you have power over them. You see what I'm saying? And we understand that even spiritually, you know, your husband is the literal cover. You feel me? Who's that just made that comment down there? If you don't have a male. Yeah, I'm gonna get on that. So watch, we just gonna keep on flowing it so you can just kind of see where it's going, right? And so this is where it come from, but we gonna check. Now you saw how he slid down on her, and this is a reason that he brings up having power over the angel. I'm gonna bring something else too that's kind of funny. Let's go to the prophet Ezekiel, right? And so when you go to Ezekiel, let me see, let's go to Ezekiel, the 28th chapter. Ezekiel, the 28th chapter. Ezekiel 28. So yeah, man, I have been thinking about it. I said I'm just gonna try to start do it a little bit more often because I have been, you know, slacking up. I ain't gonna even lie. Definitely slacking up. So Ezekiel 28, and we're gonna look at verse 16. Now, y'all listen real close to this. Now, y'all see what we just read. Ezekiel 28 and 16, it says, by the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God. I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. So y'all see who the covering cherub is? Ain't it funny he's called the covering cherub? Yeah, because he actually infiltrated Adam's cover. He's the first one to try to infiltrate and become the cover of Eve. You see what I'm saying? Because some people be like, man, you see, here you go, the phone right here. He say, you know what I mean? He say, basically, he tried to slide into the covering, and that's what he did. Because, you know, you hear people, man, you know, the cherub angels, man, they wings cover. Hold on. All the cherub angels had that type of design. You feel me? Why would he be the angel that covered? This got more of a spiritual significance meaning to it. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I'm glad you caught me too. I hope you enjoy. Hey, man, thanks, man. Yeah, it's definitely good to see me putting in work. It's good to be able to do it, man. All praise to the Most High. So remember that Ezekiel 28:16 is key. He called him the angel that covered. So if you ain't covered as a sister by your husband, you know what I'm saying, by Christ, then it's only one person for you to be covered by. And you definitely don't want to be covered by him and his minions, because he been at y'all from the beginning. He mad for one that he can't be out here being an extension of God and steady creating life and enjoying all those type of things. He know his day is marked. So he gonna try to mess up the creation from starting. How you mess up the creation? Through the mother of all living, through the woman. You know what I'm saying? The woman messed up, the kids messed up, kids messed up, the house messed up. Man ain't gonna be no good no more, because he gonna be insane. So look at this. Let's go to now this right here is when I knew that it is a very serious. Now listen, brothers, this to the brothers. This is to the brothers. Because I see a lot of sisters is in here, and it's a lot of brothers. But man, this is when I knew how serious it was to take the position of a head of your house. It is very serious. So we're going to go back to the law, not the New Testament. We're going to go back to the law to see what they understood, which is what we're just figuring out. And we're going to go to Numbers, the 30th chapter. This right here will scare the pants off you, both man and woman, to let you know when you get somebody, you better get the right one. And that's on both ends. And y'all about to see what I'm saying, because people barely read this or they breeze over it when they really need to pay attention to it. So this Numbers, the 30th chapter, right? I'm gonna pick it up in verse 2, get straight to the chase. Now, mind you, when you make any type of promise or any type of contract or any type of vow with God, you communicate with him through what? Through prayer. We don't call him on the phone. We don't write him letters. We talk to God. His process of communicating with him is through prayer. You see what I'm saying? You acknowledge him and you give him his pardons. He hear all of this, right? Because if that's the case, you be around just saying some crazy stuff, you might definitely get in trouble. But it do tell you that's why you should watch what come up out your mouth. So watch this. Numbers 30:2. It say, if a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. So, brothers, if you make any type of vow to the Most High, you better make sure you can keep it, because he definitely gonna make sure you do, or you're gonna pay the repercussions. Verse 3, if a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth. Now, remember what I said earlier. The way the coverings is set up, either you covered by your husband, but before that, you covered by your father. And that's what I was saying earlier today. A lot of these girls don't got their father or no husband. You see what I'm saying? This is not a joke. This is why we in disarray. You feel me? But they'll tell us now that it's this liberation thing and all that type of stuff, and it's just getting worse and worse, because we failed from our former glory. Now watch this. Verse 4. It says, and her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she hath bond her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand. Every bond wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand. So say if a woman or a young woman start praying to the Most High, right? And she get to saying something like, yeah, God, you know, if you just do this for me, I'm going to do this and all that type of stuff. And her father hear it and don't bust that up. Like, don't be saying that. You know what I'm saying? Then whatever she said stand. And if she don't perform her half, she got to deal with the Most High. Now watch this. Verse 5. It says, but if her father disallow her in that day that he heareth, not any of her vows or of her bonds wherewith she have bond her soul shall stand. And the Lord shall forgive her because her father disallowed her. So this is saying if her father heard her make this vow, or he found it out in that day, like she told him or whatever, he could cut that straight off. Like, he can actually interject and proceed into her prayer and say, no, that's not going to happen. And you know what it said? The Father will forgive her. We don't even got that. We don't got that glory. Once we make a vow, we make a vow as the man. So y'all see how serious this is? He can actually save your life. It's your father. He's saving your life from committing suicide. Do y'all see this? And so it says in verse 6, and if she had at all a husband, now here we go, fellas. And if she have at all a husband, when she vowed or uttered out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vow shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. So it's the same thing. If you hear, you know, if the husband heard his wife or hear his wife making some kind of vow, she praying to the Lord and she say something and he think, you know, oh, that don't sound too good, and he don't say nothing, then he can't come back 2, 3, 4 days later and be like, you know, I don't think you should have did that. I'm finna holler at the no. Whatever she said, stand, because you the man, you should have said something. You don't let nobody shame you for that. You know what I'm saying? Because this can save her life if you really love her. So watch this. It says, verse 8, but if her husband disallowed her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, of non-effect, and the Lord shall forgive her. So do you hear that? At the same time, if you heard it and you had a problem with it, you could say, no, no, we ain't going with that. You pray to the Lord, hey, look, no, guys, you know, I don't want that, put that burden on her, whatever, you know, we work something out, something like that. It said he gonna look at her and forgive her. He gonna act like he ain't even hear it. But that's because you stood up and said something. But if you listen to them today, they like, oh man, that's domineering and all that. Now you wind up dead. You see what I'm saying? We got to be 100. You down there, you going crazy. So let me see. So let's continue. We say verse 9, just to put more emphasis up, because it really gets scary when you get in there verse 15 for the fellas. Now watch this, right? It says, but every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced, here you go. Now remember, I was saying earlier, a lot of our women out here, due to the condition that we in, you know what I'm saying, brothers don't like to take their responsibility. They don't have a father or a husband. So look at this. This is where it leaves it. It says, verse 9, but every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced, so if she divorced her husband, watch this, wherewith they have bound their souls shall stand against her. So she has nobody to intercede for her. So if that's what you want to be, if you think that's liberating, you out there. So if you make any type of crazy statement to God and you don't go through with it, you ain't got nobody to even cover you and intercede that. This is in the Bible. This is the law, and this don't change. You even see it because Christ bring it up in the New Testament. He say, don't make no vow. You see what I'm saying? Verse 10. It says, and if she vowed in her husband's house or bound her soul by a bond with an oath, and her husband heard it and held his peace in her and disallowed her not, then all her vows shall stand. Every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. So if you hear, brother, and don't say nothing, that's terrible. It says, but if her husband have utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vows or concerning the bond of her soul shall not stand. Her husband have made them void, and the Lord shall forgive her. You see it? It's making it clear. You don't see too many chapters where he keeps saying it over and over. So he's trying to get us to truly understand the responsibility. You see what I'm saying? Now watch this. I'm almost near the end. It says, verse 13, every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. So anything, any type of vow that you saying like, man, I'm going to go ahead and fast, right? So that's what you got to be careful what come out your lips. you talking to the Lord and you say something like, man, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and fast, you know what I mean? Anything that might cause affliction, so anything of that nature, he can literally overturn it or let you roll with it off your wisdom, right? So here we go. It say verse 14. But if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, now you hear that. That's why I said 2, 3, 4 days later, you can't come back talking about, no, you shouldn't have did that. It said, but if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, then he establisheth all her vows or all her bonds, which are upon her. He confirmeth them because he held his peace at her in the day that he heard him. So if you think being quiet because you don't want to offend somebody or hurt her feelings, the longer you be quiet, the Lord say you confirm them with your silence. That's what the term mean, be a man. You know what I'm saying? You got to say something sometime. So watch this. Now this go to scary part. Verse 15. This will make you tremble. But if he shall anyways make them void after that he had heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity. Did y'all just hear that? He shall bear her iniquity. Where do you see that in the reverse role anywhere? So like literally, if my woman was to get out there and say something to God and I heard it and I didn't say nothing, and then the drama come down, it's coming down on me. Because I can't at the last minute be like, oh no, man, you shouldn't have did that. That's what he's saying. Like you had the chance to stop it. You should at least say something and I'll acknowledge that you said something. But if you don't say nothing, he said the husband gonna bear the wife iniquity. So it's different if she hide it from you and do it on her own. She just bearing her own iniquity. You see what I'm saying? But if you hear it and didn't say nothing about it, and then you try to come back and clean it up, it's too late. You're going to bear the iniquity. Point blank period. That's the responsibility of being a head. So it is not a joking matter or a cover. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm halfway through it, y'all. I know y'all want to get ready to watch that game. So I'm going to get down to, matter of fact, I only got a couple of more spots. So I'm going to go to, let's go to 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. So this 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. And let me see where I'm gonna pick it up at. 1 Peter 3. 1 Peter 3 and verse 7. So this 1 Peter 3 and verse 7. It says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. It's talking about your wife. It says, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So, brothers, you have to literally consider your woman in all things and knowledge and know that you are there for her protection because it says she is the weaker vessel. If you got some type of discrepancy where the two don't understand that y'all join together, then it will hinder y'all prayers. That's what it says, when it will hinder your prayers. You'll be wondering why, like, man, certain stuff just ain't going a certain way when I'm praying. It's because it's a disconnect right there. Somebody ain't doing what they're supposed to do. And so we're going to go to back to the law just to bag it up because I zoom in on key things. It called her a vessel, right? Now, remember what we showed earlier with the serpent in the garden or Satan, how he got down and tried to cover her. He's even called the cherub that cover it. And it was all due to, as at the time, a man not doing his job, right? So watch this. Let's go to Numbers, the 19th chapter. So we're gonna go back to the law. We're gonna go to Numbers, the 19th chapter. Check something out. Numbers 19. So let's see. Numbers, the 19th chapter. And I'm going to pick it up at verse 14. So this Numbers 19 and 14. Y'all with me down there? Numbers 19 and 14. It says, let me see. This is the law. I'll try to hit this quick. This is the law. Now, this concerning dead bodies. I'm going to show y'all something that's deep about this. Because if you know anything about women, they're spiritual. Our women are real spiritual, especially Israelite women. They're real spiritual. That's why you even see in the law when they talk about like people with familiar spirits and all, most of them psychics and stuff be women. Yeah, you have the occasions where it's men, but most of them be women because they're open real spiritually, either for good or bad. Like it ain't nothing better than being around a real spiritual woman that's on the positive side. You see what I'm saying? Because she takes in a lot of those good spirits. That's why the head covering and stuff is important. You know what I'm saying? It's like a portal. Now watch this, right? It says, this is the law. When a man dieth in a tent, all that come into the tent and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. So, you know, this if somebody, which you would quote unquote say gave up the ghost, he died in a tent or a house or something like that, you know, you would be clean for 7 days, right? It says, verse 15, and every open vessel, I just found this real interesting. Every open vessel which have no covering bound upon it is unclean. Now think of that on another level, right? You know, when somebody give up the ghost, it's all type of spiritual stuff to that. It's all type of, even because of the body corrupts or decays, as they call it. And it's all type of disease and stuff that go through that. So the law was if you had a vessel in there that didn't have no cover on it, that had to go. Because now it's unclean, it's been corrupted. This goes back into your woman being a weaker vessel, and she need to be covered and protected when it's real turmoil spiritually going around. When it's a lot of spiritual uncleanness, this is what has to do. Yeah, it seemed like a strong responsibility, bro, but it's one that you got to take. You know what I'm saying? It's one that you got to take. Our men don't like taking these type of responsibilities, but I mean, you got to. He says, ain't nobody else gonna do it. And so let's go to Mark the 3rd chapter. I want to go to Mark the 3rd chapter. I'm almost done, y'all. I know y'all trying to watch y'all game. Bears ain't in there, so I really don't care. That kicker is, oh man, I don't even want to talk about that. So we'll go back to Mark the 3rd chapter, and I'm gonna show you how, like, you know, it has to be like, you know, on the last show we were saying how we have to learn to discern spirits and just like have on our spiritual gear and all that type of stuff at all times, because it's literally a war out here that's on saying how I know you find that funny about the Bears is that's just terrible. So Mark the 3rd chapter, I want to look at something. This was a parable that Christ was giving. That's concerning the kingdom and all type of things. So it's on a way deeper level, but I just want to check out the comparison that he used. This Mark the 3rd chapter, and we're going to look at verse 24, and it says, and if this is when they called him, I'll tell you that when I get here. Well, no, this is when I'll just go ahead and tell you, this is when they called him Beelzebub, which means like the chief prince of devils, like basically Satan, you know what I'm saying? In verse 24, it say, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, then that kingdom cannot stand. But watch what else can't stand. It says, verse 25, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. It says, skip down to verse 27. It says, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. So come on, let's think of this real clear. Fellas, you know it's a spiritual war out here all the time. So you got to be on P's and Q's for you and your family. Because if they bind you up, if they bind up the strong man, the house could just be, you might as well just go ahead and say you basically succeeded. You know what I'm saying? You basically succeeded. And the parable is actually, that's why I like how he used physical stuff to try to give you a deeper spiritual understanding of it. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be ashamed of the position that the Most High gave you. You just got to play it and play it to the best of your abilities and how your partner that's rolling with you. You see what I'm saying? To make it easier for both of y'all. So let's go to Psalms 105. Psalms 105. And when I go to Psalms, I like to make something clear. You know, if y'all ever notice when you watch a lot of the Israelites, like the teachers I come from under, whenever we open a class or a lesson, it's the custom to say a psalm. And the reason that we chose Psalms is not by coincidence. When you even look in the New Testament, you'll see that Psalms are repeated a number of times in there. because the Psalms are a compilation of prayers. That's what they are. They're prayers, songs, and prophecies. That's what's in the Psalms. So when you read in the Psalms, they're actually prayers that has like the stamp of approval. They're compiled. There's mainly David's prayers, and there's some thought that you could see where either there was some more prayers that was compiled, but they were compiled under King David. These would be nationally known throughout Israel as legit prayers that we would keep. For example, you even see the Gentiles understand that today. What they love Psalms 23. Y'all know, though I walk through the valley with a shadow of death. That is a bona fide national prayer, just like you do the Lord's Prayer. You see what I'm saying? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. These are bona fide prayers. So when you reading these, you're actually reciting prayers. And we know God can hear you, whether you praying out loud or where you praying in your mind. The scriptures tell you that. You see what I'm saying? That's why you can pray in private and secret. So if you're reciting prayers, you are praying. And the Psalms is literally a book of prayers, prophecy, and songs. And the songs ain't nothing but songs to the Lord. So they're vocalizations of a prayer. So let's look at this real quick, and I'm going to give you an example to show you what I'm saying in a minute. So this Psalms 105, and we're going to look at verse 39. It says, because this is what I want everybody to know. The whole nation of Israel now going to the man, had to be covered by the Lord. So we had to be covered as the men, and so now the whole nation could be covered. So verse 39, it says, he spread a cloud for a covering and fire to give light in the night. Now, y'all remember when we was coming up out of Egypt, the Lord was our covering. Like literally, he was our covering. He used the black cloud as our covering or our protection. And he was fire by night. Do y'all see the correlation between all this? Y'all feel me? He was literally the nation of Israel's cover in a time of trouble, right? So let's look at this. Isaiah the 30th chapter, just to bag it up. Isaiah the 30th chapter. So I love that part right there because that shows you that even the man needs a covering. You feel me? That's why I say the man's head is Christ. And so it's telling you that he was our covering, all of us, right? So Isaiah 30, I don't know how I keep losing Isaiah like that. That's like my most used book, but I keep losing it. Okay, Isaiah 30. Let's go to Isaiah 30. And Isaiah 30, I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. Isaiah 30 and 1. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Do y'all hear that? So Israel had a habit of loving to run back down there to Egypt. Kemet, if you want to call it, Mizraim. We love running back down there. And y'all peep what the Most High say. He say, man, you going down there, but not of my covering. As we just read, he covered us the first time we came up out of Egypt. He was our cover, our head, and our protection. But now we want to run down there to trust on somebody else, and we wasn't covered by him. We wasn't led by his spirit. Do y'all see this? How this all connect with the man and woman? Hell, even the child. And so when you look at verse 2, it say, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So you trusting in the shadow or the cover of Egypt, huh? But not in the shadow of the Most High. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. So if you not getting your covering from the righteous protocol that he set up, you're going to get it from somewhere else. So we just read that Israel was covered by God. He was our covering, both man and woman coming out of Egypt. Then he said when we tried to run back to Egypt in Isaiah 30, he said we went there, but not of his covering. So we replaced that with the knowledge and the sorcery of Egypt. Do y'all see this? So we all have to be covered. Both the man and the woman, the entire nation of Israel has to be covered, man. So let me just expound on it. Let me see. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to skip down to verse 22 just to make it clear. Verse 22, and it says, ye shall defile also the covering of thy graven images of silver and the ornament of thy molten images of gold. Thou shalt cast them away as a minstrel's cloth. Thou shalt say unto it, get thee hence. So earlier in Isaiah, the 30th chapter, he just told us we would run down into Egypt, but not of his covering. So he wasn't protecting us and not of his spirit, but we was in the shadow of Pharaoh and the Egyptians. So we tried to use him as a cover. But then it clearly explains to you what covering is your covering if it's not aligned with the godly oracles. And it says, ye shall defile also the covering of thy graven images of silver and all that type of stuff. So if you ain't with the Most High, you covered by something. You see what I'm saying? You covered by something. So I'm finna go to the last couple spots. And I want to show y'all something that's real tripped out on what I was saying, just to confirm what I was saying about what the book of Psalms is, for an example. And it's throughout the scriptures that you'll see that a prophet or somebody will actually recite a prayer that they said. You see what I'm saying? But we're going to go to 2 Samuel to check something out real quick, just to show you what I mean about the Psalms being a compilation of prayers that was like bona fide and stamps for the nation of Israel, right? So when you read them, that's what you want. So let's go to 2 Samuel, the 22nd chapter, and I'm going to pick it up at verse 4. It says, and David spake unto the Lord the words of this song. Now remember what I said, there's song, prayers, and prophecies. And the day that the Lord had delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies and out of the hand of Saul, King Saul, it says, and he said, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, the God of my rock, in him will I trust, for he is my shield. There go your protection again. It says, and the horn of my salvation, my high tower, my refuge, my savior. Thou savest me from violence. So you see, this was the prayer that David went into, and he letting them know, man, you my shield, you my protection, you my cover. You the one that saved me from any type of attack on me. You know, if this brother is physical or spiritual. Verse 4, I will call on the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. Now, mind you, this is in 2 Samuel. When David was having his issues with King Saul, was trying to kill him, and this was when he was getting the kingdom, right? Now let's go back and look. Let's go back and look into the Psalms that he put together. This is just proving that they're a compilation of prayers, right? So this is Psalms chapter 144. Let's go to Psalms chapter 144 and look at what this says. Psalms 144. And it says, Psalms 144, and I'm going to pick it up from verse 1. It said, blessed be the Lord, my strength, which teaches my hands to war and my fingers to fight. Listen closely. Now, y'all remember what we just read in 2 Psalm. Tell me if this sounds familiar. My goodness and my fortress, my high tower, my deliverer, my shield, and he in whom I trust, who subdueth my people under me. Y'all hear that? This is a part of the prayer that he literally said in 2 Samuel. And you can find parts of it in here, but you can even see it all put back together. See, watch this. This is Psalms chapter 28. Just to show you what I mean. Psalms chapter 28. So we're going to go to Psalms 28. And we're going to read it right around. Here we go. It says, verse 6. Blessed be the Lord, because he hath heard the voice of my supplications. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusteth in him, and I am helped. Therefore my heart greatly rejoiceth, and with my song will I praise him. The Lord is their strength, and he is the saving strength of his anointed. Now watch this. This one makes it even clearer. Let's go to Psalms chapter 119. So let's look at this. Psalms chapter 119. here you go. Psalms 119. Psalms 119. I hope y'all enjoying this. Let me know. Please subscribe. Please, everybody, hit like. Hit like so it'll move up in the search engine. Please hit like if y'all would. Psalms chapter 119. And I'm going to pick it up. Let me see. At verse, let me see. Psalms 119. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Psalms 119. Let me see. Matter of fact, let me see if I can try Psalms 19. So yeah, man. That the one that y'all asked about the about going into the whole second part of the spiritual one we did though. I don't know exactly if I'm gonna be able to do that. Let me see something real quick. I think I lost my last one. I think I lost my last one, y'all. I really do. Let me see. But I had one more that was directly from that event. But I think I kind of lost it. Yeah, I might did. I probably did. I believe so. And watch, I'm gonna find it as soon as I get off too. But hold on now. I think this is it. It's better to trust in the Lord all nations can pass me. Nope, that ain't it. Oh, okay, here we go. It says, blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies and that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all thy commandments. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. I will keep thy statutes or forsake me not utterly. And I'm going to tell y'all something I just did too. If y'all ain't catch it, I literally did a remix on that one because that ain't the one I was looking for. But it definitely works. Let me see. Psalms 1. Okay, Tiana, I'm going to roll with you on that one because that might be exactly the one I'm talking about. I'm going to go and let you slide a request in there before I get off there. Since y'all here, y'all rolling with me, y'all could be looking at the game. So what you say, Psalms 144? Let's go ahead and see. Psalms 144. I already read that one, beloved. Oh, okay. You're writing out the ones that I'm putting up. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm about to say I already read that one. Yeah, and that's the whole point. You know, we all have to have a covering. Like you see what he said in Isaiah the 30th chapter, like he was talking to the men mainly for the most part, because that's who that's who went down there, running down there up to Egypt, trying to, you know what I'm saying, trying to come up instead of dealing with the Lord when he told us, you know, to stop even rotating with them cats like that down there. And if you look around today, that's why one of our biggest irritants that we have to deal with is the Hoteppers. Because we still running to Egypt trying to get knowledge, or running to Kemet trying to get knowledge. And now that's our confusion. So I always trip off that in Isaiah the 30th chapter. You said you learned that, Tiana, you said you learned that Psalms 23 in the Baptist church. Yeah, because them are legitimized, as we could say, national prayers. You know, so whenever you're dealing with them, you have to deal with them that way. So, right. And I know some people have a different understanding of it. But if somebody asks me why, you know, you see how my hair look. You don't think I would have a hat on right now if I didn't have fear for what I'm doing? You see what I'm saying? I would definitely have a hat on because I'm on here looking like I got a hair hat with some tips hanging. I don't want y'all to think I'm trying to make some kind of fashion statement. I'm about to get it hooked up in a little while. I just been feeling kind of John the Baptist like. I'm feeling kind of, yeah, no. Might give me some locusts and honey or something like that. You feel me? And so, yeah, man, everybody hit like. I appreciate it. Anybody got a request or something y'all want me to read before I get up out of here? If y'all got something y'all want me to read, I go ahead and close off one of y'all. One of y'all could choose. If one of y'all got a verse, whoever type of verse first, I use that as my closing verse to go out on the show. I think that's how I'm gonna start doing it. The first one to put a verse up there, I'm gonna read that as the closer to end the show. So y'all go ahead, pick a favorite verse or something y'all want to read. Somebody said Psalms 18. Look, with the apple of his eye, Israel beat y'all to it. Quick with it too. So Psalms 18. And I hope that ain't one of them one with David putting no curse on nobody. You know, he could get away with that. We ain't where he was at. Y'all know what I'm saying? David had that type of juice with the Most High. We let one of us try. Israelites be out here on camera too, putting curses on people in English and Hebrew. I'll be like, boy, we so tarnished, you better stop playing. Psalms 18. And so what you want me to read the whole Psalms 18? This kind of big here. Let me see. Man. Let me see if I pick something out of Psalms 18. Because I am familiar with this. Okay, cool. I know what to read. Let me see. Sure. Okay, I got you. I'll start from Psalms 18 and I'll go to, okay, you say 1 through 5? All right, I got you. Psalms 18, 1 through 5. This is for apple of his eye. This the request. Psalms 18, 1 through 5. Here we go. It's saying, will love thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I will. You is cold. You is cold. Because you know that literally is one of the prayers that David actually literally read. I like that. My buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. I got to keep going. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried unto my God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. And yeah, that's beautiful. That's definitely beautiful. That ended just perfect. Now come on, man. Now y'all just banging these freestyles. I see. I can't do that no more. Y'all slapping them up there. Okay, I'm gonna get one last one. One last one. What you say, Ecclesiastes 12? I love the book of Ecclesiastes too. That's the book of the preacher. That's the preacher king. That's Solomon. No, that's what that word means, preacher too. Ecclesiastes 12 and 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. That's perfect right there. Got the end on it. So I say, man, thank y'all. Thank y'all for viewing, coming giving me some of y'all time on this beautiful Sunday. It's out here looking like the snow of Russia where I'm at right about now. And like I say, tune in tonight, 8 Central Time on Solar Vision Debate League on YouTube. It'll be 8 o'clock Central Time. Brother Mikael versus G-Con. And the subject is, what laws should modern day Christians keep today? What laws should modern day Christians keep today? I got some stuff sitting around here that I'm just going to basically slap together. I do got a couple of things I want to bring out. Hopefully I'll be able to do the screen share properly. I know in the playoffs, everybody coming with their best. I don't want to just be reading because Israel got a short attention span. If they can't see the visuals, you know, you might not get the W just because, you know, he might have some pretty visuals up there, but they ain't really saying that. So with that, man, I'll see y'all tonight. You know what I'm saying? Share the video if you liked it. I hope I've been able to be some type of light to you today. So with that, I say shalom, shalom, and peace.